Hi guys, it's KevyDog4. This is my NFL Week 2 predictions video. These are the picks I made before Week 2 started. I just didn't get the video up before Week 2. So these are the same predictions I had before the Thursday night game. So let's get started. The Thursday night game was New York Jets versus Buffalo Bills. I picked the Bills because I figured they'd bounce back after Week 1 and the Jets wouldn't. New Orleans versus New York Giants. I picked the Saints because they got robbed. I won't necessarily say they got robbed, but they did not end up winning the game against Oakland. They lost by 1 point, but it was odd that they lost last week considering that Drew Brees had over 400 yards and a few touchdowns. So he had a really good game last week, but the team still lost. So I figured that they'd be able to bounce back from that. The Giants played the Cowboys last week, and they won by 1 point. So I figured that New Orleans would be the better team in this matchup. Tennessee versus Detroit. I picked Detroit because the Titans usually, or at least the trend over the past few years, is that the Titans don't win very often. And so I figured Detroit would take this game because they'd be the better team here. Dallas versus Washington. I picked the Redskins because they were the playoff contending team last year, and Dallas didn't score a whole lot of points last week. But this game, I have a feeling, is going to be close because Dak Prescott had a good game last week, and the Redskins did not do very well last week, so I think it's going to be close. Kansas City versus Houston. I picked the Texans because in this matchup, I feel like they're the better team. Last week, Kansas City won against San Diego in overtime, but they started out really slow, so I think that Houston will be able to take advantage of that if they can jump off to the early lead. Miami versus New England. I picked New England here for pretty obvious reasons. They're the better team. Garoppolo's doing a good job. Gronkowski's out again this week, but that shouldn't affect very much against Miami, so I picked the Patriots. Baltimore versus Cleveland. I picked the Browns because Josh McCown is starting. Robert Griffin III was injured in Week 1. He's out for at least, I think, 8 weeks. But I picked Cleveland to win this game because I figured that Josh McCown would help get the job done for Cleveland this week. San Francisco versus Carolina. I picked the Panthers because they were in the Super Bowl last year. They didn't look too bad Week 1. It's just the Broncos were better. The Niners, they just don't seem to be as good of a team because they've really fallen off the radar in the past few years, and I feel like Carolina's going to smoke them. Cincinnati versus Pittsburgh, division rivalry here. I picked the Steelers. This game's probably going to be really close, but Pittsburgh is a more consistent team than Cincinnati is. It depends on how many turnovers Cincinnati is going to have, because we never know with Cincinnati, because they can have a game with no turnovers or they can have a game with 5. So I picked Pittsburgh. Tampa Bay versus Arizona. I picked the Cardinals. Last week, the Cardinals played New England. They lost by 2 points, but it was a close game. Tampa, they're still in the rebuilding process. They had a pretty decent season last year, just kind of average, but it's a lot better than they've been for a long time. But Arizona has been a contender for quite a while, so since we're still in the early weeks, basing off last season, Arizona's probably going to win this game. Seattle versus Los Angeles. Well, Los Angeles did not score a point last week against San Francisco, so it's kind of a no-brainer to put Seattle ahead in this matchup. Atlanta versus Oakland. This game's probably going to be pretty close, but I picked Oakland because Derek Carr had a good week last week, and I think that that's going to happen again in Week 2. So I picked Oakland over Atlanta. Jacksonville versus San Diego. I really liked the way Jacksonville played last week. They almost took down the Packers. San Diego had the big lead last week, and then they lost in overtime. They let Kansas City come back. But I think that Jacksonville is going to play much better than San Diego coming into this game, so I pick Jacksonville. Indianapolis versus Denver, I pick Denver because last week they beat Carolina, and Carolina is a good football team. Indianapolis lost week 1, so they've been kind of, since a couple years ago, they were really good a couple years ago, but they're kind of falling off now, and Denver is still looking really strong even without Peyton Manning there anymore, so I pick Denver. Green Bay versus Minnesota, another division rivalry. I pick the Packers because we don't know what Sam Bradford is going to do. Is Sam Bradford going to get injured? We don't know. Is he going to be awful? And is Sean Hill going to come back in? We don't know. Green Bay, even with Teddy Bridgewater quarterbacking this game, Green Bay would probably be the more consistent team. So I pick Green Bay over Minnesota. Philadelphia versus Chicago. This is a Monday night game. I picked Philadelphia. The Bears have been very, very, very inconsistent, especially since they signed Jay Cutler to that long-term deal. They have not been very good. Carson Wentz was pretty impressive week 1, so we'll see if he can continue that this week. But as long as Carson Wentz does what he did last week, he'll be able to get the job done. As long as the defense can do what they're supposed to do, Philadelphia is going to win this game. So I picked Philadelphia over the Bears here. And let me make sure there's no more games here. Yep, that was the Monday night game, so there was only one Monday night game this week. So those are my predictions for week 2. I will post my results video as soon as possible, but it might take me a little while because I'm busy. I'm just fitting in my videos whenever I can, but I'm almost caught up now. So thanks for watching this video. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, give this video a thumbs up, leave some comments below, and go back and watch my week 1 predictions video, my week 1 results video, and then be ready for my week 2 results video when it comes up. And my basketball series is going to start up again soon, so make sure you subscribe so you can see that when it comes out. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in my next video.